Good morning, class. Today we're going to start on standard SS8H3, which is to analyze the role of Georgia in the American Revolution. Element A, which we're going to begin on today, is to explain the immediate and long-term causes of the American Revolution and their impact on Georgia. What we're going to start on today is the French and Indian War, which lasts from 1754 until 1763. Now, the French and Indian War was there's another name for it over in Europe, which was known as the 7 Years' War, and that war actually lasted from 1756 until 1763. It is important that you remember those dates. Okay, let's begin on this. Discontent in the colonies. From 1754 until 1775, there was a lot of discontent in the colonies. And what discontent means is basically the colonists were very unhappy. After decades of loose control, England begins to make demands on its American colonies. Resistance starts slowly, but soon erupts into war. And what that means is, up to this point, the colonists were they basically were allowed to kind of do what they wanted to do in regards to trade with whoever they wanted to. They could pretty much do what they wanted to do. They could settle where they wanted to settle. Well, after the French and Indian War, you're going to see there's tightening of the reins, I guess is the best way to put it. And England really starts to enforce the laws that some had been in place, and they start to enforce other laws that had not been in place. So let's move on to the next slide here. There's going to be 3 sections to this discussion, and it will span several days. But Section 1 discusses the French and Indian War. Second section discusses Britain tightening control, and Section 3 discusses the colonial resistance grows. The French and Indian War, Section 1. Britain's victory in the French and Indian War forces France and Spain to give up their land claims east of the Appalachian Mountains. Before we go much further, let's look at a map that actually shows the New World before and after before and after the French and Indian War. In 1754, as you will see here, and as we discussed the other day, the green area was all owned by Spain, the orange was owned by the French, and the yellow, of course, was owned by the British. Well, you're going to see after the French and Indian War that the Spanish, who actually ally with the French in 1761, they actually gain this land here. The Spanish do. They gain much of this area here, and then the English gain all of the land east of the Mississippi River, which is here. The reason why that river is so important, it is actually the largest river in North America. Let's go back to the slides. Britain's victory in the French and Indian War forces France and Spain to give up their land claims east of the Appalachian Mountains, as we read a moment ago. War breaks out. France, Britain, and colonial America. English colonists settle the eastern coast, and France claims the interior. As we have previously stated, beginning in the early 17th century or 1600s, you begin to see the establishment of various colonies, again along the eastern coast, which is right beside the Atlantic Ocean. And France comes over and they start to colonize the interior, basically from the Great Lakes down the Mississippi River, which is known as...
Coach Garner?
Yes, ma'am.
I need to see Anthony Robinson for a minute in the office. He's not leaving.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.